Welcome to So Very Easy. My name is Laura, and let's make a really simple quilt block. Now this block is so simple. There are no half square triangles, no set-in squares. It is quick and easy, but when it's put together, the possibilities are really quite amazing.
And what we're going to need is a charm pack. Now this charm pack is from Timeless Treasures, and it has 4 of each of the colors. So there is a total of 48 5-inch squares. And we are not going to cut these. We're going to use them right as they are. We're going to put a couple of borders around the outside. And I don't have any of the colors that match this, so I'm going to just stick with very basic colors, a black and a white. Now in this case, I'm going to be able to use a white that has a little bit of polka dot in it, and it still is going to read white, but you could use the solid white. So all of these are going to read as solid colors. Even though the red has a red swirl in it, it reads as a solid red. The green has a green in it, but it still is going to read as a solid color. So I want the other colors to remain as a solid color. Now I'm going to be using 42 of these blocks to make the quilt, but I will make up all of them and then choose which ones I want to use after. So for how many 5-inch squares you have, you're going to need double 2-inch strips. And I'm going to make it easy. I'm going to have 2 inches and 2 inches. Everything's going to be 2 inches, so there's no thoughts about it. We can whip this up together quick. I'm going to cut 12 strips of my white fabric at 2 inches. And from that, I am going to be able to cut 5 inches by 2 inches. You just need double of what you have. Then I'm going to need 2-inch white squares. They're going to equal the same amount. So if I'm going to have 48, I'm going to need 48 of the white. It's going to be the same thing for the black. I'm going to need the same amount of black squares as I have with the white, which will equal the same. 48, 48, and 48. The black strips are also 2 inches, and they're going to be by 6.5 inches. So this is 5 inches, 2 inches, 2 inches, 2 inches, 2 inches, 48, 48, and 48. Then I'm doubling these up, 96 and 96. And I'm going to sew the borders onto the blocks. My first border is going to be the white. And I'm going to match the 2-inch towards the 5-inch and sew all of these together. So I'm going to have a whole stack that has that border on. When all those 2-inch strips have been sewn on, take the seam and press it towards the larger 5-inch square. And you won't need any steam, just give it a light press, and that way we won't have to square them up when we're done. And when the seams have been pressed, we're going to sew one of the 2-inch squares on top of the remainder of the 2 by 5-inch strips. And when those squares have been sewn onto the end, take the seams and press them towards the black square. Now when we go to match them up, those seams are opposing each other. So you're going to be able to just nestle them together and stitch that block on the next side. When that strip has been sewn on, press the seam towards the large block. Now we're going to take that 2-inch by 6.5 and sew it onto one edge. With that strip on, you need to press that seam towards the black, so the white has no seam allowance showing through at all. With the remainder 2-inch white squares and the 6.5 by 2-inch, we need to attach them. And when they're attached, press that seam into the long piece. Now this piece is going to fit exactly on the other side, and those seams are going to nestle together, and you'll be able to stitch a 1/4 inch all the way down. And when that last border is put on, the block is done. It is a very, very simple block, but look what happens when we put it together.
We get a very striking quilt, but what happens if we take every other block and turn it? So every other block was twisted, and that gives us this nice striped appearance. But with another flip of the blocks, you can get a different design. Or maybe you're looking for something a little bit more modern. And with another twist, you get a modern looking quilt. Now you can twist and turn these blocks and get many, many different layouts. And it's all from one simple block. And it starts with a charm pack. So depending on how many 5-inch squares you use will depend on the size of the quilt that you get. So you can just use up the charm packs that you have, make your own charm packs, or just go out and buy a pile and keep sewing until you get to the size that you like. I do hope you give this a try. It is a quick and easy project. No half square triangles, no set-in seams, and it's done in no time. It'll take you more time to find a layout that you like than it will be to sew the quilt. I do hope you give this a try, and as always, thank you for joining me today on Sew Very Easy. Feel free to subscribe, and as always, come on back. Let's see what we're sewing next time in the sewing room. Bye for now.